Hi guys, welcome back to Bike and Beyond, and today I've got something special for you. This week's video comes from the legendary Eastridge woods. I've been told this place is home to some amazing trails, and with such good weather today, we just had to come and check them out. And we weren't disappointed at what we found. Check this. I've never been to Eastridge before and I've no idea what sort of trails we're going to find here. So we wasted no time in dropping into our first line, which I think starts off as part of the Red Mark trail. The first thing I realised is that this trail is bumpy. There are loose rocks and roots all over the track. I guess there's nothing like a good warm-up for a first run. As you can probably tell, the weather today is scorching. And I love riding in the summer. However, today the trails are really dry, which makes them a little dusty and loose. A small price to pay for the great weather, but it did make the corners a little spicy later on. As we were riding the first line, all I could think of was that if this is the marked red trail, imagine what the off-piste is going to be like. So we went to find out. We left the red trail and headed straight into the next couple of off-piste lines. At this point the trails got faster and steeper. We also got our first experience of some of those dry, dusty corners I was telling you about. There was also the opportunity to ride some pretty fast sections here too. Despite the bumps, you can really build up some speed. The trail that follows this is called Oil Can. This happens to be my favourite trail that we rode today, and I think you'll be able to see why. This is an action-packed, fast-paced, steep and technical trail.
Oh, it's certainly steeper.
Yeah, don't let the pretty bluebells fool you into thinking this is a nice fluffy trail. This trail is hardcore, and it really does mean business, as we were about to find out. As we dropped into the lower part of the trail, things got really steep. In fact, the next couple of features seemed near vertical. We really had to take it slow, and I was fully hanging off the back of my bike for this section.
Whoa! I was worried for a second there.
Considering that we're only 5 minutes into the first ride of the day, things seem to have escalated really quickly. As I said, this trail is hardcore. Fair play to Jim for leading this one. I can already tell that today is going to be a good day.
Oh, that was serious. That was awesome, that, blimey.
For the next trail, we took one of the alternative lines that we'd just seen on our previous run down. This was a bit more of a flow trail that zigzagged along the hill, as opposed to going straight down it like the last one. With all the tall grass either side of the trail, it didn't give much visibility ahead. Sometimes it was hard to predict how tight or bermed a corner was going to be before you were on it. But this just made the whole thing more exciting. I think you'll agree that the terrain here is perfect for mountain bike trails, and it's easy to see why Eastridge has been used for so many events in the past. When riding, we were constantly spotting other trails that crossed the one we were on, or some that just disappeared off down a steep hill. There really are so many trails to explore here, and I knew that we wouldn't even be scratching the surface today. On the GoPro, it's difficult to convey just how steep these trails really are, but as I turn this corner, you can see the fire road at the bottom to give you some perspective on how gnarly this place is. I certainly got my money's worth out of my suspension and brake pads on this ride. This place is so good. As well as the trails, we came across this mini industrial zone. It had an awkwardly angled drop next to this wall that was just begging to be ridden.
Woo!
But as fun as this place was, we were hungry for more trails. So we made our way back uphill in the sweltering heat. The next trail we rode was the Stinging Rodger Red Trail. This is by no means one of the hardest trails we rode today. In fact, it's not even close. Don't get me wrong, this is actually a really good trail, but for some reason I was making all the mistakes on this one.
Oh, that was loose.
Now, it could be that the heat was getting to me, or perhaps the loose, dusty surface was throwing me off, but I felt like I was misjudging the corners, understeering, taking the wrong line, and just generally being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I was fumbling around on my bike so much that I decided to pull over and compose myself a bit.
I'm making a royal mess of this trail. Showing myself up here.
And then things got worse.
Ooh, that's tight.
I really don't know what happened here. I didn't hit anything or get anything caught anywhere. I just sort of stopped. This has to go down as one of the lamest crashes in history. I just kind of laid my bike down and stepped over it. Who knows what was going on here, but I didn't let it faze me and I got going again.
Well, I'm really showing myself up on this one.
The rest of the trail was pretty good. It has everything I enjoy about a trail. It was a decent speed, it flows really well, and the terrain has just enough to keep you interested. I guess I just wasn't vibing with it on this particular day.
Well, if you come to ride this trail, don't do it like I did.
After my dreadful performance on the stinging Rodger Red Trail, we decided to get straight into another one. After a great day in the woods, we had to finish the ride on a high with 2 awesome trails back down to the car. This one is on a flatter part of the hillside, but it was really technical. The upper section is basically a rock garden. But once you build up a little bit of speed, it becomes quite manageable and really enjoyable. We've certainly tackled more rocky sections of trail on this channel recently, so this was a doddle. As you move into the trees, the rock garden stops and you're riding on dirt again. It's still pretty bumpy, but easier to maintain your speed. It's good to see the mix of trails that have been created here at Eastridge. There's plenty of steep and technical lines, but some, like this one, are a bit more mellow. And when I say mellow, this is a relative term. I mean mellow compared to the rest of the daredevil trails at Eastridge.
Oh, hello.
Because this short trail has enough to knock you off your bike for sure, and it would definitely challenge anyone on a hardtail.
Ooh.
I'm not saying it can't be done, but it would be hard work. Our last run of the day was this little trail entrance that caught our eye. Dropping in, we didn't realise how different this trail was going to be. The whole day we've been riding steep, dusty trails on the hillside, but the forest here is much denser than up above. It reminded me of some of the trails I've ridden up in the Cannock area. On trails like this, you really have to work hard to maintain your speed over the rooty ground, and you also have to work hard not to catch your handlebars on every single tree. With single track like this, it can be hard to see where the trail goes. So not only are you trying to keep yourself on your bike, but you have to look a bit further ahead to make sure you're taking the right line. After a long and amazing day's riding in the heat, this was the last big effort of the day. Successfully through the woods, we'd made it out onto the fire road. Awesome. Despite my poor performance, these trails were amazing, and I can't wait to come back and explore loads more of the steeper trails that we didn't get a chance to ride today. So if you want to see that, remember to subscribe to the channel, it's completely free. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.